Hello, everyone, and we're back
Hi.
again. Hi, Katya.
Hi, Christian.
So I'm Christian. You might have seen me before in these today's, and I'm an app promotion specialist from the PerformanceX team. And I'm now here today with Katya. She's also a promotion specialist in PerformanceX, and she will talk to you about UX for apps. The objective of this hangout is to give you some very practical tips about user experience for apps. And hopefully, if you implement just a couple of them after this hangout, you will be able to improve the user experience of your app. And ultimately, if that is a goal for your business, increase the conversion. So I will sit here quite quietly. I might interrupt if I have any question, a very mean one. And
looking forward.
And so I will now leave to Katya. And do you want to already start sharing the slide?
Yeah.
Cool. I will put them on then.
So, hello everyone. I'm very excited to give you this presentation. So yesterday we gave you a very good overview of Google promotion solutions, right? So you heard that there are more than 1 billion apps in each app store, and more than 60% of the apps have been never downloaded. So there's very high competition out there, and it's really important that once you acquire new users, that he actually stays within your app. He is engaged, he becomes your loyal user, and then at the end he converts. So this session is going to be firstly about the flow that you should look at, the user path. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of three main phases, which is onboarding, engaging, and actually action. And I would just give you like key points that you should take care of. And then we're going to have like a practical, really practical session. So I hope that you have your apps ready and you're ready to investigate on UX with me. And then those are really quick fix, quick wins. So hopefully by tomorrow, you will increase your conversion by at least XX%. So let's kick off. So firstly, just to give you a concept, I would like to introduce you the multi-screen world. So basically, it's not a surprise for everyone that mobile is booming, right? Tablet, the traffic is growing. So if you look to the graphic to the left, you see that desktop traffic is going down. It's a trend, just trend numbers, right? So mobile is going up. You say, okay, that's not surprising me at all. We're all using mobile. All right, so it's just interesting to look at the graph in combination with the second one to the right. So if to look at the conversion rates, then the conversion rates from the desktop are going up drastically, and tablets is even going down. A mobile is almost stable. So you would first think, why do I need to care about mobile traffic if desktop is doing so well? But important is that you don't take this for granted. You need to consider your user as not as just desktop user or mobile user. It's just a user, right, who uses different mobile devices and desktop within the day. You may even use 2 or 3 devices at the same time. So please keep in mind that there is a research phase that your user does. So that if you only look at the desktop conversion, you may think that, oh, this is amazing, my user converts at the first session, and this is not true actually. So this is I would just like you to think more about the multi-screen process and to think about the metric, which is multi-device conversion rate. So when you actually analyze your campaign, your mobile campaign, and you see less conversion on your mobile than on desktop, you make wrong decisions, such as to stop your mobile campaign or to not to focus on it, or just to focus on desktop. So we saw that those who would not take into consideration the mobile, would not optimize mobile side and apps, they would actually lose conversion on desktop. right, Christian?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that there are some periods along the year. Of course, every country is different, has different seasonality, but there are periods like summer or Christmas for the country where Christmas exists, that is very important to think in this way. For example, I remember in the past having very good success pushing mobiles very strongly during summer because, of course, we travel and maybe we're on the beach and we're checking our mobile phone. And there is one interesting targeting option in AdWords. And I will remove the slide just for a second, just not to bore our audience. There is one option in the AdWords interface when you promote your app that is new mobile devices, and that is very strong during Christmas because what we do is in the interest category, and we usually suggest to select new mobile devices 90 days. Because that will target all the devices that has been activated in the last 90 days. And during Christmas time, as you can guess, there is a lot of activation, both from mobile and also from tablets. So this just to link what Katja was saying also to app promotion and AdWords, since we talk about AdWords on Monday.
Yes,
but
that's a really good point.
And yeah, hopefully we will give you some very practical also example of how you can very easily improve your UX. Sometimes I think we are all users of apps, and when we see something we don't like, we are upset and we say, oh, why this works like that? But when it comes to the app we developed, for some reason we are less critical. I had this experience in the past, like asking to client, well, this is clearly wrong, no? You say it, and they didn't realize that before.
Because
I was
the
user.
Yeah,
you're into it, and you're thinking about 10 other things, your business goals, etc., and you forget about simple things. While when you are a user, you really think about. So one suggestion that we can already give is give your app to your child or your friends or family, and let them play and use it, and you will find so many things you can improve already from this experiment.
That's true.
So I will pop up the slide back again.
Thanks. So hopefully we convince you that you should not underestimate the mobile traffic. And let's just talk about apps and mobile sites versus mobile sites, because it's a hot topic all the advertisers usually have, like if they should concentrate on apps or mobile sites. So there's just one question and answers from our users, whether they prefer to click on apps or mobile sites from the search. So here are the answers. Around half of them prefer apps because they're quicker to load. So this is just to keep in mind that it should be really the case. So if you have an app, it should really load quicker than your mobile site. And later on, we're gonna follow up on that in our practical tips. Then second point is simpler to navigate. And again, it should be really simpler to navigate than mobile sites. And second one, because the app has your data, it's way more easier to use it second time because it will have your login details. So keeping this in mind, I would just highlight you that you do not have to compromise. You do not have to choose between mobile site and apps. Those two mobile apps and the apps, they have different purpose. So apps are for loyal users who know your brand, and they would like to purchase more. They would like to use it once a week or several times a week. And mobile site is usually first impressions when they're in the phase of research. So you don't have to compromise. You better take the best out of two worlds. And the good practice is to actually promote your app within your mobile site. It's free and it works amazingly. Conversion rates are amazing. And here are just some recommendations that we have for you so that it looks the best way possible. Don't forget to actually include the star ratings in your banner so that it looks like the one from Play Store or App Store. Don't forget to mention it's free, and of course the value, why your user should download the app. Number of reviews is also useful. Operating system, so that it looks like native, like a native ad in your mobile site.
Thank you, Katya. I just wanted to add on this. I don't know, have you ever experienced that case in which you open a mobile site and the only thing you see is a big pop-up saying to download the app? I don't know, for me, that was very annoying.
Yes, I
So,
agree.
because, and sometimes advertisers also put the, continue to M site very small. Like if, the fact that I want to use the mobile site is just completely wrong. So they are really pushing me to download the app. And that shouldn't be the situation, okay? So if you have a mobile site, if you have a site, I'm sure there is a reason. And if the user landed there was a reason as well. So try, maybe the best answer in that moment is the app, might be. So you can remember to the user or tell the user if the user doesn't know that the app exists. Yeah. And then it's up to them to click on that banner that Katya was showing before and open it or just downloaded it. But, be careful about ruining the user experience on your mobile site just for the sake of promoting the app. There are many other ways to promote your app. We saw them on Monday. We saw them also today to Play Store and with Chris for the audience development session. So a lot of ways, putting big banners in front of your mobile site user is not always the best option.
Yeah, first rule is that your user feels like he or she is in charge of a situation, of like he Correct. Takes all the action. But once he or she feels like something is happening without him doing anything, he just leaves.
Yeah, exactly. And you bounce back and your bounce rate goes up to the roof.
Yeah, let's just move from that to the conversion principles. So there's a really, really good research on Think with Google. It's called Mobile App UX Principles. There is a paper. So we would really, really recommend you to go there, check all the information that is there, all the cases, and it's a go-to book if you want to know more about UX. And because we only have half an hour here, we would just give you like a really quick overview so that you know how to start, and then it's up to you if you want to go into details. And well, mostly it's about A/B testing, right? So here as a flow, you can see that there are two stages when user just comes. So it's it's onboarding process. So it's crucial that you get attention. So it's starting from the splash screen, making sure that you have your brand on the splash screen, that it's really, remember about the answer of our users that prefer apps because it's faster. So make it faster for the user to use your app. It's crucial that first screen really shows a value proposition, that he has an idea of what it's about. Christian, do you have something to add?
No, I was just thinking, how should I read this slide? Because I feel there is a lot of content and very good one, but so it's from left to right, right?
Yeah.
So there are like three phases of the user. So the first is the attention that is delivered through the home page, right?
Yeah, onboarding process.
Okay.
When the user is not familiar with you, he's just getting to know your app. So it's kind of like, yeah, meeting a new person. So
it's the first date
of
your user with your app, and then there is engagement and the action. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So as said, there's a lot of details. So just go check mobile app principles, and you will learn a lot from that, as we did. So yeah, and to briefly talk about engagement, that's where your user knows what your app is about, and he's now making a decision whether he or she is interested in the content or in the value propositions that you have. So make sure that you have this all sorted out, that you have search, that you filter, that the navigation is, I mean, there's a lot of things to take care of, but like each step of the funnel is very important. And social proof is crucial nowadays. If you could add G+, Facebook, or any social network that you have in mind, that users see that the friends are using, they like it, it's really, really powerful. We see the conversion rate increase drastically from that, just because people associate themselves to something that their friends like, and that they're much more likely to convert.
I think everyone can relate to that.
Yeah, so don't forget about that. It doesn't take that much time. And then if you jump to the action, so that's about when he's ready to take an action. So that is very crucial for you. Well, you did amazing job just to convince, just so that do your best not to let him go.
To lose them, yeah.
And we're gonna give you some practical tips afterwards. Yeah, so there's our practical part. I hope that you have your apps open. If not, please do so, because yeah, I would just highlight you some key points, really basic one. So it's not rocket science, it's more about fixing basics, but really, really useful. And just based on 2 principles, is that you do not interrupt your user. So you make sure that he has a smooth experience, and also you do not make the user think at all, the best case scenario.
Yeah, this is the favorite quote of our colleague Jamal that I hope he's listening to us. He always said this, and I really like that phrase because I think summarizes everything. Don't make user think. When you are using a website or when you're using an app and you are already thinking for more than 2 seconds, how should I do this? There is already something wrong in your UX.
Yeah. So if you have limited options, just like present all the options, so that user just sees the option. It makes him to make decision quicker. But anyway, get ready to go for your app hygiene. So first off, your content, of course. So it may sound obvious, but your content should be really easy to read. So you probably now think your content is easy to read, but think of different situations, like different environments. For example, if your user is now enjoying the sun, like what would the screen look like? Like, do you have sufficient contrast between your content and background? So then make sure that your font size is at or above 11 points. This is really, really crucial. It's so easy to fix, but so many advertisers have it less than 11 points. So yeah, just make sure you talk to your designers that they fix it if it's not fixed yet. Well, of course, check the whole content, that it's consistent, that the font is same within the whole user experience. Just to highlight that for Android, the type should be specified as scale independent pixels. So just make sure that technical details is implemented. Yeah, and test it. Another important thing is that content should be accessible when user has no connection. So for example, if he's traveling, he's using 3G, he may sometimes lose the connection for 3 minutes. And then you need to make sure that you cache core information in app. It's not that difficult. It just you need to spend some time like thinking the strategy, thinking like what core content does your user really need, so that once he comes back after the 3 minutes, he can just continue his or her purchase. And yeah, it's
yeah, or action or conversion, whatever is the app designed for.
So again, doesn't take a lot of time, but yeah, increase conversion dramatically. Let's go to the spacing. Spacing is really something people forget about. So yeah, it sounds easy, but again, like look at the button that you use. Just make sure that you have space between each of the elements. So you can find the recommendation for Android and iOS. As you can see, for Android is 48, is around 9 millimeters, and for iOS it's 44 points. Yeah, again, it's really easy to fix. So just let your designers know, and then because it gives the app this very elegant and profound look. It looks native to your operation system. Once you implement this, it's a quick win.
Yeah, I think if you don't do it, some of us probably already experienced that. You open an app and you say, this app looks different from the others.
Yeah.
There is something not consistent. Of course, every app is very different from the other, but the first feeling is coming also from spacing and size. If these guidelines are not respected, you just feel that apps is different from the other, probably in a negative way also.
Yeah, I agree. So probably each of us is used to its favorite operation system. So yeah, you just want to.
You don't realize, but you are used to them.
Yeah, and the second thing is model views. So if there is a task that your user needs to complete and it's not in within the app, just use a model view so that it's it takes a part in your app. So do not take the user away from your app. It's a very important rule.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on this. I've seen at least a couple of examples where the user, when he's reaching the billing process, the most important one, so where your business get the money back, he's redirected to the mobile site, or in worst occasion, even a sort of desktop sites merely adapted for the mobile. That is, of course, not ideal, not only from a user experience, which is our focus today, but has a lot of negative implication also for conversion tracking, as you can guess, because you move from the app world to the mobile site world, which are tracking different ways. So
yes, the solution would be to use in-app browser. So it's again easy change, but then it saves lots of effort then to make the user come back.
Yeah, I agree.
So call to actions. You probably heard a lot about call to action button. That's there. They should be in your app. They should be visible. But what not everyone takes care of is that your call to action button, they have to be persistently visible. So they have to be like, even if you go into details, like you read about the specific product or you book something, your user does not have to look for this button because it's something that it's the main button in your app. So yeah, make sure that it's always like down. So in all the
one thing here is make sure you have clear in mind which is your first objective. So if you have many objectives, try to prioritize them in your mind and try to check if your priorities match with for example, the dimension of the call to action. So in the case, for example, in top right example, if the user to buy the product is your first objective, maybe that could be even be more visible than watch. While in other cases, you see call to action that are very prominent, but you can understand that call to action is not exactly the first objective of that business. So why is so prominent? Maybe because it helps then the second objective. Because, for example, in this case, if I watch, I guess here is a product. So if I watch the product and some more details and photo, maybe then I will buy it. But yeah, try to ask yourself, what are my priorities for my business? And to make sure that the user experience, your UX, reflect that. Mm-hmm. Is it correct?
Yeah, I think it's coming from the web world, because there you had much more space, right? So you actually can afford having different call to action.
Yeah, probably you're right.
But because you're limited in space, you have to go for only one.
Yeah.
I think Tamzin earlier today talked about the forms that you have to sometimes fill in and how annoying they are. And like no one likes to fill. Yeah, I totally agree. I cannot agree more. So your goal is to actually minimize the effort that your user needs to put in it. So again, call to action. Just to repeat, don't forget to bring it up, to scroll up after user complete necessary fields. So it's always there, so he doesn't forget what the purpose of what he's doing. I don't know if you heard of floating labels, but for Android, it's essential that you use that when you fill in the form, you use them so that it's way easier for the user to see the text and to see actually the information that he needs to fill.
Oh, because in this case, for example, the label, floating label is title that just moved up.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, because sometimes it happened to me. I start typing, and I don't remember anymore what I had to type, so I need to delete it and click with the cursor somewhere else, so I see back again, like in this case, the title, price, and then okay, so now I have the memory of a redfish. So well, here is nice because the user probably click on title and the title label just move up. Yeah. So he's typing, but title is already reminding him this is what you need to put here. Yeah, like it.
And again, if we go into details of a form, just communicate about the possible error as soon as possible. So it's way better to inform the user while he's typing something incorrect than to inform him afterwards, because then he already did some effort to input something and then just after you're telling him. So yeah, communication is a key point. Then again, the tags, don't forget that when you have the virtual keyboard, it actually takes half of your screen. So
with the space.
Yeah, so yeah, it's crucial to use the tags and horizontal tags. Yeah, a telephone number, it may sound obvious, but we saw many cases when clients would use as well letters, not only numbers.
Yeah, you click on telephone and the keyboard pops up and there are the letters. The user don't need the letters numbers, because they need to input the telephone.
So those are small things, but then if you actually fix them all together, then it makes an impact on the overall conversion. Yeah. Again, in the form, don't forget about what Chris was mentioning earlier about the slider. It was about the choices, right? So if you look to the right, there are all the sizes, SML. So if the choices are limited, then it's way better to represent all of the choices. That again, user doesn't have to think about the choice, and then it's easier to make this choice. If you look to the left, there is a step of control. So it's important to give the option to change the quantity of the item at each step of purchasing process. Just especially if it's an expensive one, if you want 2 or 1, you haven't decided yet.
Make exactly different. In this case, I can see more than $1,000.
Yeah, so exactly, just make sure that the user knows that they can change anything and at any step, and then it's way easier, because then if he needs to come back to steps, then he might just lose his interest and go to your conference website or app. Yeah, and the usage, most important. So again, when you think about the usage, first thing comes to your mind is when app crashes, right? We all experience that.
So many times.
So just make sure that your user comes back at the same screen he left. Yeah, it just saves so much time. And then, well, if app crashes, it's not the best experience, but then it's worse when he needs to begin from the scratch. So yeah, just make sure. There is this quote from the studies that 1 second delay in load time can mean 16% decrease in customer satisfaction. This is crazy if you think about it.
It's just 1 second.
So if you multiply by 15, it's well, it's quite a big number, let's say. And likely for you, if you use Google Analytics, then you can actually measure resource load time really easily. So there is a link.
For both Android and iOS, yeah, I see.
Yeah, so it's a super useful tool. I hope everyone uses already, so don't forget to check the time that takes to load. your screens, and yeah, to make sure that it's fast, responsive. Make sure that you store the layouts locally so that it takes less time. You may also come up with animation just to show that the process is working really, really fast. Usually helps, especially when it takes some seconds and you actually show the screen, and then it gives you this impression that the process is going on, so user is entertained. So
last slide, I think, no, if I don't remember, but this is very important, so stay with us at a couple of minutes. These are the what not to do, and we see it so frequently.
Yeah, so do not mimic UI from different platforms. They are different, quite different. We are all used to a specific one, so just if you would copy like Android to iOS or vice versa, if that makes sense, user would be just confused. Then do not use underlined links.
Oh, I saw them so often.
Yeah, just remember apps, they use buttons. It's again in
it's the heritage of the mobile web, I guess, no?
Yes, underline links are for web and buttons are for apps. And important and useful tip is do not hardcore the links.
What that means?
Do not save the links in your code, because then you need to update the app every time you want to change the link.
Okay.
So, and this is something also we see some of advertisers forget to do today, because maybe they didn't have the tools to change it faster. So just bear in mind that you don't hardcore the link. And again, what we already mentioned, that do not take your user to the browser, use an in-app browser.
If you really have to.
Yeah, I mean, if there is payment or anything you need. And again, about the rating, that's wait till you get a really loyal user, and then you ask the user to rate your app, because if you ask too early, you may get a negative feedback. Or
I think it happened to me once to be asked about a rating before almost using the app. So it was just the first time I opened it, or I opened it and closed it immediately, and I was already asked about the rating. So maybe if, for example, a purchase is one of the main goal of your app, after the first purchase, I think you can already start asking some feedback, but not before.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so it seems that it's pretty much it. Thank you very much for staying with us this afternoon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for today. I think it's all, but there will be a lot of other Hangouts tomorrow. So please join us again. And for the time being, just have a great day, whatever is your time zone. Thank you and bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.